Okay, so I'm going to show you how to make chestnut Christmas tree bread. So this is a batch of my enriched dough made with 550 grams of flour. And then what I've got here, excuse the terrible lamination, I've got an A4 piece of paper, and what I did to make this template that I'm going to use, measured halfway along that piece of paper, and it's 21 centimetres A4. So I measured 10.5 and I made a little mark at the top, took my ruler from that mark down to that corner, and the same again from that mark down to this corner to make this tree template. Okay, I'm going to put one half to one side. I'm going to get this other half and I'm going to roll it out into an oblong that is the same shape as this piece of A4 paper. Dough, with all of its gluten, has a real habit of just springing back all the time. So just keep going until you've got a piece of dough that's the same size as your A4 piece of paper, or thereabouts. Remember that the dough is a little bit stretchy, so you can easily stretch it later. And cut down the shape of the triangle. So I have a baking tray, and now what I want to do is get those other two pieces that were spare and make those into a similar shape. Okay, so they just need a little bit of rolling out just to make a little bit bigger, and then they go on the board. And I'm putting this piece underneath because that's going to be the bottom of the bread. So appearances don't matter. So that's the first piece, and I'm going to repeat the same procedure now that I've just done with this next piece of dough. I suspect I didn't get those quite square. So we have the 4 pieces of Christmas tree vague shape, and I've got here 200 grams of chestnut puree. I've added 50 grams of dark brown sugar, and I've beaten them together to make it lovely and soft. I'm going to take a third of that paste and spread it out onto this piece. Now, you don't have to use chestnut puree. You could use chocolate spread, you could use cinnamon butter, you could use pesto, you could use harissa. I would suggest if you're going to use a savoury paste, then make a savoury, simple white dough. But this is a great adaptable recipe for Christmas. Here I have about 100 grams of chestnuts that I just whizzed in the food processor. So you could just chop them finely if you don't have a food processor. And I'm just going to put them out. I really like the contrast with a little bit of crunchy nubbliness with the chopped up chestnuts. Then I'm going to get the next piece of dough and line it up. Now, it doesn't matter if it breaks at this point. This is going to be enclosed inside that tree, so this is all good. Just make sure it sort of vaguely lines up with one another. And another third of the paste going on there. A little bit more chopped chestnut. So if you're using chocolate spread, for example, you might want to use chocolate chunks. Then the next layer, and the remaining chestnut puree, knobbly chestnut pieces, and then the final piece. And then I'm just going to roll it out. So we take our ruler and we just make a mark, and again from the top coming down in this tapered edge. Okay, so that you have this nice central bit here that's free, and then I'm just going to slide it off this tray so I can do the cuts easier. So I'm just going to cut now down to the mark and go up as far as I can, making those cuts, and even them out on the other side. You can go back onto the tray, and then what we do is we take this bit and we twist it. We take this bit and we twist it, and you expose the beautiful filling, and you make these lovely Christmas tree branches. And as you're doing it, you're stretching it out a little bit. It gets harder as you get to the smaller bits. So here it is, nicely proved now, okay? So it's nice and puffy, and you can move these around to give them a little bit more room, as that they'll prove even more in the oven. Okay, so that's going to go into the oven at 200 degrees centigrade for 20-25 minutes. If you've got a temperature probe and you can pop it into the centre, it should read 88 degrees centigrade, and then you know that it's definitely baked. Here it is, baked and decorated. So what I did, it baked probably for 25 to 30 minutes. Checked with a probe thermometer to make sure it's reaching 88 degrees, because it can be really hard to test and know when the centre of this bread is baked, and it's quite thick bread. As soon as it came out, I brushed it with the simple sugar syrup, lots of pearl sugar on top, and then I've put little baubles of cherries on there. So there you are, look, lovely, delicious layers of chestnut in amongst that sweet dough.